So if you're a public manager, there are a lot of different words we could use to describe the work that you're called upon to do in the society. We could refer to it as act in the public interest, or protect the commonwealth, or secure social outcomes. So there are different words that we could use to describe essentially the same concept that I'm after here, which is the set of things that would constitute a justification for your action if those things actually occurred. But there are a couple of interesting features about the use of the phrase public value that I think are important to recognize. The first is that on one hand, let's take first the idea of value. And one connotation of the word value is a kind of hard-nosed commercial idea, value for money, cash on the barrelhead. And that appeals to many people in the public sector because of the desire to make sure that we call government to account for performance. And what we mean by performance is that we get something concrete and objectively valuable for whatever resources are being used by the government to produce that result. So that's value in the sense of hard, practical facts about the way in which the world has been changed in a favorable direction as a consequence of the actions that we took. It can be observed, counted, measured, perhaps even monetized. And so there's that hard-nosed idea about value. There's this other connotation of value, though, which has to do with a different idea having to do with moral aspirations, that what we mean by value is the things that would give meaning to life, or the things that would distinguish a good individual life, or a good society, or a just individual life and a just society from something less than that. And when we talk about that, it seems like we're often talking about things that are intangible and associated with people's hearts rather than their head and their hard-nosed calculations about what's practically of interest. I think the reason I like using the word value is precisely because it puts those two different connotations up against one another. And I think one of the interesting and most important challenges of being a public sector manager is one of the important tasks that you have to perform for yourself and others in the society is the ability to make the connection between the public aspirations of individuals and collectives in the society and the reality of the world that we're living in, and to use the measurement systems and the ideas you have to make that connection so that we can actually see and continue to learn from both about our society and how we can change it from our ability to see the degree to which our values are actually being reflected in the conditions under which we're living and are being improved in the actions that we're taking through government.